I will read Banana Diplomacy, The Making of American Policy in Nicaragua from 1981 to 1987. Chapter 1. A Pattern is Set. In July 1980, when Republicans gathered in Detroit to nominate Ronald Reagan as their presidential candidate, Nicaragua was not even on the party's agenda. Yet, on July 15, barely 1 year after the Sandinistas had taken power in Managua, Republicans adopted a platform calling for their overthrow. Party experts had not recommended this position, nor had it been reviewed by the platform committee. The language was inserted by a staff aide to North Carolina Senator Jesse Helms in a backroom maneuver. On July 8th, Representative Jack Kemp of upstate New York, a former professional football quarterback who viewed himself as a prospective president, had been in the chair of the Subcommittee on Foreign Policy and Defense in room 2040 of the Cobo Hall Convention Center when the Latin American plank came up. Kemp had little background in foreign affairs and had been discussing his pet plan to revive the gold standard for U.S. currency when Helms of North Carolina proposed a new section on Nicaragua. I'll be glad to take whatever language we can agree on, whatever, said Helms, one of the most conservative members in Congress. But what I have written in this is this: we deplore the Marxist takeover of Nicaragua and Marxist attempt to destabilize El Ecuador, El Salvador, and Guatemala. We will never support U.S. assistance to any Marxist government in this hemisphere. In this regard, we deplore the Carter administration aid program for the Marxist Sandinista government in Nicaragua. The amendment had the virtue of simplicity, condemning President Jimmy Carter's policy of limiting damage to U.S. interests in the same breath as the Sandinista takeover itself. Carter, over Helms' objections, had convinced Congress to approve $125 million in aid to the Sandinistas, and Helms had waged parliamentary warfare to hold up the disbursement. If there is any problem with the language, we can work it out, Helms said. Fine, Kemp replied. The amendment was then turned over to staff. Staff meant John Carbut, an aide to Helms and one of the sharpest political operators in Washington. His lobbying for white minority leader Ian Smith during the Rhodesian independence talks in London had prompted a British government complaint. Carbut mocked the attitudes of the conservatives whose he championed then the Flat Earth Society. He liked to say that Nicaragua was not a top priority for him, about number 300 on a list of 300, but it was an area where a nude at the right moment had impact. In the course of his staff work, a key sentence was added which pledged the Republican Party to support the effort of the Nicaraguan people to establish a free and independent government. "I wrote that," said Carbot, of the phrase several years later. Asked if he intended by the overthrow of the Sandinistas, he replied, "Sure." As for the rest of the party, no one seemed aware of the coup. Kemp congratulated Helms, saying that his enthusiasm in working out the language had been very helpful, and he praised the tremendous work of Helms' aides. Kemp said he had no problems with this very strong plank. The official transcript indicated that he did not read the most controversial passage aloud. "I think honestly and sincerely we can deplore the fact that the Marxist Sandinistas have taken over Nicaragua. That's a deplorable condition. It's in our backyard. It's the soft underbelly of America," Kemp declared. And 2 days later, when the full platform committee approved the wording on Nicaragua without debate, the draft on which they voted made no reference to a pledge to support the effort of the Nicaraguan people to establish a free and independent government. The controversial sentence did appear, however, in the final printed version that was handed to delegates and subsequently approved by the convention. Carbot said he could not recall exactly how he slipped the sentence in, but said it may have been added in the final rewrite.